Hello everyone, in this video we'll be unboxing and reviewing the Shaka statue released by Zodiakos Studio. Now, Zodiakos Studio is a Chinese company, but they have acquired the official license for Seiya, which is one of the reasons why I bought their Shaka, as well as the fact, of course, it looks absolutely stunning. Now, there are actually three different versions of this statue available. There's the version A, which is Shaka standing atop his lotus cradle with two different set of hands. There's the version B, with Shaka sitting down, holding his rosary, unleashing a bunch of demons. And then there's the version C, which contains all of the previous, plus bonus parts for the version B, being a different set of hands and a different head sculpt, as well as an additional piece, an Omake, being Shaka as a child, as we saw him in the anime of the Hades chapter. Now, being a huge Seiya fan, I of course opted for the version C. So in this video, we'll be unboxing all of these pieces and be reviewing all of them as well. We're starting out with the outer cardboard boxes, and the first box we see Shaka in big letters, the logo, as well as the number of my box. I have number 889 of 999. The other side of the box we have the zodiac wheel with Virgo in the middle, the logo again, as well as all the right holders. For the second box we get exactly the same thing, again with the zodiac wheel, the Virgo in the middle, all the logos and the right holders, as well as Shaka in big letters. The inner cardboard box then, we see a beautiful picture of Shaka sitting atop the temple floor, and we see the ghost flying out as well. Very nicely done, very stylish. On the side then we have another close-up of Shaka with stickers to show that it's an original piece. And then if we move over to the back side, there we see some more close-ups of Shaka, beautiful rendition of his face with the eyes open as well, and a shot from the side with the rosary. Very beautiful box, lots of detail we can see there. And then on the final side we see a description of who Shaka is in the story. A couple of words I would have translated a bit differently from Japanese, but that's a stylistic choice. I'm not going to hold that against them, but it's nice they included this as well on the box. The other inner cardboard box then, a beautiful shot of Shaka with his name on the pedestal. We can see the whole statue, very stylish. Then on the side, again, the sticker here, but I don't have the seal that was on the other box, probably because I bought the full set and they only stuck it on one box. Otherwise we get Shaka again there. And then on the back side we have, again, three different shots, close up, and the two different version of hands, nicely shot there. Beautiful rendition. And then on the final side of the box we have again the same text as we had on the other one. The styrofoam box then, very sturdy, well packaged, and what I really love are these Velcro straps. This makes it very easy to open up the box, as you can see, and to package your statue again if you would ever move or if you would be crazy enough to sell it. As you can see, it comes off very easily. I've seen that with other studios like Oniri as well. This is a system I really love. And then you just open it up like this, and there we go. All the pieces are there, ready to be set up. So let's have a look inside the box what we have. So we have, of course, Shaka himself, his lotus pedestal, the cape. We have the shoulder pads, the head, and then the various hand sculpts or arms, which we will discover very quickly. Then, of course, we also have the manual, which is packaged in a resealable plastic bag. Very high quality on the manual, I must say. Nice print in color, glossy paper. Here you can see it's the assembly instructions for the A set, and they take it step by step, showing you how to assemble it. Text both in Chinese and in English, which is nice. Now this is an easy statue to set up. I didn't have a lot of trouble with this one. The second one, there you really need to refer to your manual, because that's a little bit more tricky, but very nice manual indeed. In the second box, we get the same thing. Again, the manual to set up the statue, and there are some additional things inside. You can see the black envelope embossed, very high quality. So we open up the resealable plastic bag, which I love because it is great for storing your instruction sheets or additional parts later on. And here again, same high quality print. A nice overview of all the pieces in the box, numbered, which is very helpful because this is a more difficult statue to set up. You really need to check your manual when setting it up. And what we also get inside the bag is the following. So here we have a pair of gloves. Now this is really going the extra mile. We get a pair of gloves for handling the statue with the Zodiakos Studios logo on top of it. I'll definitely be keeping those. They didn't really fit me, so I couldn't use them, but very nicely done of them that they inserted that. And then we have this envelope, which has a bit of a special way of opening with some kind of seal at top of it. And there we have a beautiful certificate with high quality print, the logo, the signature of Jackie, the president of the company. That is very nicely done, high quality all around, so very happy with that. Okay, time to start setting up our first statue, the A version. So this is Shaka standing atop the lotus. So first up, we take out the base, which you can see here, and we see there's the name of Shaka engraved in front of it. So we're going to set that up. Next, we take out the lotus petals and we just put them on top of it. Now, be careful because there's an uneven square cutout, and you need to match it up, line it up exactly as such, so it matches. And then you take the floor of the statue, put it exactly in there, and that will actually hold those petals in place. You don't need to push really hard on it, just make sure that it's nicely aligned and that fits nicely. Next, we have Shaka's body, taking it out of the protective sheet. And as you can see, it's very beautifully done. Nice coloring, nice shading on the body here, lots of details. And the front leg has a peg which is shaped in such a way that it can go only one way into the pedestal. So you really need to align it up carefully, then push it down a little bit, not too hard, and that fits nicely. And here we can see beautiful detailing on the sculpt of the body. Continuing on, we have Shaka's cape, also removing it from the protective sheet. And if we just take a moment here to look at it, there's a nice shading on both sides of the cape. So this is not my lighting causing this. This is actual shading on the cape. Looks really nice, gives a little bit more of depth on the cape. So that is very well done by Zodiakos. Again, same system, you have a pin here. It can only go in one way, so just be careful to align that up. Carefully not to scratch your statue, just push it in just ever so slightly and it holds perfectly in place. And now if we take a look, I love the way the cape is draping. There's movement in the sculpture that way. Next up we have the shoulder pads, which you can see here. Same thing again, lots of detail, lots of shading also on it. I think they did a great job with the paint. Now this is a little bit tricky to put on, so you kind of have to do it counterintuitively and then ever so slightly put it at an angle, as you can see here, like this. You go from the back towards the front. That's not so easy to do. I had to try a couple of times to get it just right. Now it's not all the way in yet. I just want to show how you can put it on. So you start out like that, and once you're there, you just push it through, making it come upright. And as you can see, just push down a little bit. That holds everything nicely into place. It gives additional support for the cape so the cape will not dislocate. Very good engineering there. And as you can see, it lines up perfectly both in the back and the front the way it should with the rest of the statue. Next up we have the set of arms, so I'm just going to unwrap them here and let you have a look at them. So they're very nicely detailed as well. So you can see the individual fingers, the fingernails even, and the armor is also very well detailed. So there's a peg in there, a little bit same system as it was with the cradle. So you just can only put it in one way, and these are magnetized. So just try to find the hole where the uneven square fits in, and it will automatically draw in the arm into the socket. So you don't need to apply any force. Again, beautiful detailing here on the armor, and here you can see it really well. So you see it has a certain shape, so it can go in only one way, just slightly, and there you see it click into place. That's the magnet pulling it in. These magnets are pretty strong, so that's very helpful when you mount your statue. Here we have the head sculpt then, which is also incredibly well detailed. I'm being careful here not to damage it. You can see the individual hair strands, wavy, like when Shaka releases his Cosmo. That's actually very accurately done. Same thing here again, a peg that goes in only one way, making it fit in nice and snugly in there. Also slightly magnetized, holding it into place. Here we have Shaka almost completely mounted. We're just missing one little additional detail, but you can see it looks very nice. And this is the last detail here, the crown part of his helmet, which goes into the hole right there. It fits in just right. You need to push down a little bit on it. You could also mount that first and then put the head on, but I chose to do it this way around. And you have the beautiful stone sitting on top there. So now let's have a slow look from all angles, and we can see that the statue looks really magnificently. You can feel Shaka releasing his Cosmo with the cape, the hair, the posing with the hands. It's very accurate for the anime. So now we're going to put on the second set of arms. So I'm going to remove these here. They come off quite easily. As I said, they're magnetized. So that makes it quite easy to swap out the arms without having to force on your statue. So here is one arm set with the stretched out arm. So that goes on the left side of Shaka. Again, same system. Peg that goes in only one way. You just find your hole and there the magnet pulls it in. Very easy, snap on. And now we're going to do the other side. Same system again. This time it's the bent arm that goes on the right side. So here you can see again the peg into the hole. It can go in only one way, just a little bit fiddling, and there it is. The magnet pulls it into place. Beautiful posing here as he does his attack. Rikido Rinne, beautifully translated from the way it was in the anime. And this pose is also a pose I really like. I'm probably gonna set mine with the first set of arms, but this is also very well done and very faithful to the anime, I must say. And with that, we've arrived at the second statue, the version B, with Shaka sitting down holding his rosary. So we're starting again with the styrofoam box, much bigger than the previous one. The straps again, the logo is embossed as well on the styrofoam, and there's a cardboard box here, which is quite unique. It's on the outside of the box, and they made a cutout so it can be held into place with the Velcro straps. Now these straps I really like. It's a great system to hold the box together. So here we have the styrofoam. We're going to take out the cardboard box first, because actually this contains something pretty cool. As I had shown you previously, we get a certificate of authenticity signed by the company president, and this is actually an entire set, so you can put your certificate in there, make it standing up, or hang it on a wall. I think it's really cool they include that. Not many studios do that, so really love it. Opening up the box now, so we're going to lift the lid. Here we can see lots of parts, especially with all the swirling ghosts that fly out from the back of Shaka. Here we have also 2 head sculpts. We have the body of Shaka and his arms. And then underneath you have the quite heavy base with some more additional ghost parts. A little cardboard box again, and a couple of cool little things which we will show as we continue with the video. First, we're going to take out the base, and we need to unwrap it because it's in a protective bag. Taking it out carefully. Here we go. It's quite big and heavy, and as you can see, here it is, beautifully detailed with part of the floor lifting up. At the bottom side we have again the logo Seiya, seal of authenticity, and the numbering of the statue you have. And then at the top side here you see various pegs of different shapes, and they're numbered as well, so the numbers are carved onto the statue itself, and these numbers correspond with the numbers we're going to see in the manual, so that makes it a little bit easier to set everything up, even though I still had to do quite a bit of trying out, trial and error to fit it all together. So let's get started with the first ghost. Here we can see it, a very nice translucent resin going from very transparent light colored to darker colored. That gives a nice effect of the ghosts actually flying out in a sense. So this is number 1, goes into number 1. There we go. That's quite easy. Continue on with the next one, and here very beautifully sculpted, a double pronged one, and so this is number 2, and we're going to put it into the hole number 2. So it takes a little bit of fiddling. You need to find the right angle there to put them in, and this is done purposely so that each ghost flying out has the right orientation. Continuing on, number 3 here, and as you can see again, each one wrapped individually to protect them, very nicely detailed. Inside you can see there is some metal rods. These aren't visible once you have set up your statue actually. I didn't find that bothersome, but they're there to keep everything nice and sturdy so it doesn't fall over. Number 4 here, taking it out as well, and here you can see it again with the translucent resin. The peg that is shaped in such a way that it can go in only one way. And you need to fiddle a little bit, but you can feel it. You can feel it snap in when it's in the right direction in there. Now, next up, this is a rather big part because we have multiple faces flying out here. 3, if I'm not mistaken. And this was very well wrapped because it's quite sensitive. It can easily break off, so be careful when handling those. Here, putting it in the right way, and little by little you can see the statue taking shape, but it's a little bit finicky. You need to carefully position them and try to find the right angle. Here as well you can see some of these lines are kind of pointy near the end, so be careful not to break them off. These are pieces you need to really handle with care. You need to slowly find the right inclination and gently push them in there, not forcing on it too much, but just making sure that they hold nice and snug into their position. This is the centerpiece. This is quite heavy, quite big. It has a larger peg, goes in the center part here, and it goes in like this, as you can see. But even by following the manual, I still made a mistake. Actually, first I needed to attach some additional parts, which I'm going to take out now, to the base and to the centerpiece as well. And if you put it all together, then each piece pushes against the next one. making it hold into place much better. So that's why here it's still a little bit of a wobbly construction for me, because I didn't put in all the necessary pieces in the centerpiece before assembling it. So I took it back out, a little bit of styrofoam, so always clean your statue after setting it up. Another small piece, so 2 small pieces at the front left and right center there. And now I'm taking back that centerpiece, and here you need to be really careful and take your time. So you have a couple of pieces that need to be slotted in there as such. So you see, I put it in there, that holds it nicely into place. And then we have the same thing for the other side. Always be very careful when unwrapping these. Just take your time, do it slowly, don't force on them. These are pieces that are very detailed, but also have a lot of pointy, small edges that can break off if you're too rough with them. So carefully find your hole there, put the peg in, and then gently push down on it so it goes in. It's starting to take shape. Here I have the final piece, and this will go in the backside as well. So on the other side, so handle that carefully, put it in there. Here I'm showing you how it goes in there. You see the peg, you see the hole, so you carefully slot it in there. And then one more longer part here. I'm going to put it aside for now, and we're going to take our middle piece, our center piece, that's already quite heavy now with all those pieces attached to it. Here you can see the hole, and I'm going to push down gently. Take your time, just try to find the right angle, put it in there. That slots nice into place. I must say this is the most finicky part of the statue. It's the most scary part to assemble as well. And then once this is done, then you just let it slide into there. Carefully try to find your right angle. And once you find the right angle, you can just, here, you saw it slots in. You push down a little bit, and each piece is gonna hold the other piece into place. So that works really well once it's completely assembled. Now we have one more part to set up. After we have slotted the center part actually in there, and that part actually, I'm gonna try to show you here, it goes in from that side and slots in there, just like that. And that holds actually pretty well. You don't need to be afraid that parts are gonna fall off. It holds in pretty well. Next up we have 2 stone pieces. So the first piece goes over here on the top left side. As you can see, it's with a peg. It also goes in a certain way, and that those 2 stone pieces will give a nice extra effect of really the floor of the temple being ripped apart and lifted up by the sheer force of Shaka's Cosmo. So I like that really well. I like that a lot. The fact that they add those little pieces, giving a little bit more of some dynamic movement to the base of the statue, slots in there perfectly, as you can see. It's time to set up Shaka himself. So here I'm unwrapping the body of the statue. And as you can see here, beautiful detail again, nice paint job, beautiful shading on the statue as well. And here is the shoulder pad. Now this shoulder pad is for the arm set where he doesn't stretch out. So I'm going to show you here. You just put the statue as such on top of the base, and it's the same thing as with the other statue again. So you need to be a little bit counterintuitive and slot it into place as such. And then you see from the back side and the front, it aligns perfectly. If you slot it in like that, goes a little bit easier than the other statue. Now when you put his body on top, there's a little magnet there. It helps hold it in place a little bit, but it's not like you can move the statue around a lot and it will not fall off. It just helps the body keep in place a little bit. The arms then, here we see lots of nice detail. This is one arm set, the one with the rosary, which is my favorite arm set actually. But this doesn't match with the shoulder pads I had put on, so I need to put the other shoulder pad on, the one with the bent. Here you can see shoulder pad on his left side, because you need that bent part so that the arm can stretch out holding the rosary. So I'm going to show it from the side here. So same thing, you go a little bit counterintuitive from the back towards the front, clip in as such, nicely aligned in the middle. You don't need to force it, just gently push down on it, but a little bit from a slanted way from the back. Here I'm going to put in the arms, same system as with the other statue, with magnets that clip it into place very easily. And then the stretched out arm, thanks to the bent shoulder pad, can go up. Just find your way there, and there it is. The magnet pulls it into place, and then you put your statue just right as such. Next is the head sculpt, again beautifully done, this time with the eyes opened, slots in the same way as with the previous statue, so very easily, just like that, there it is. And then you carefully align your statue just right, where Shaka sits in the middle with the ghosts flying out from behind him. There we have it, a full set with the rosary arm set. Let's have a quick look around, and it's just magnificent. The translucent resin at the base of the ghosts, and then the more darker colored parts at the faces of the ghosts give out a really dynamic movement vibe. It looks like there's actual movement in the statue, lots of details in there. I really love it. And with that, we have covered both statues, but since this is the C version, the version with additional parts, we're going to have a look at those specific parts as well. Next up is a beautiful additional bust for Shaka on a nicely sculpted pedestal. You can see you have the Virgo logo there, you have the red stone on the bust, and the bottom side is beautifully detailed with some kind of red velvet. Now we're going to put the additional shoulder pads on top of the bust, clicks on as such. So as I said, a little bit counterintuitive. You need to go from the back to the front and then slot it in just right as such. Aligns up really nicely, and here we have it. We have the bust taking form. Now I'm going to take out the second set of arms that were included with the B version statue, so the one with Shaka sitting down. And same system again with the magnet, pull them in really easily. The pegs and the holes are shaped in such a way that you cannot miss. There we go. So that is taking shape nicely. And the additional set of hands, which are very well sculpted. You can see each finger individually, fingernails. Nice shading on the armor parts as well. And you need to pull them apart a little bit and then slot them back together as such. The remaining head sculpt, this one with the eyes closed, matches really well with that set of hands or arms where he's like meditating. So same thing again, slot it in just like that, very slightly, no need to force it, and there we have it. And that is actually really well done. So they went through the extra effort of adding this part so that we can display Shaka with both poses. And we're not done yet, because exclusive to the version C set, you have this base, again with a hole, and on the back side, the logo, the numbering, and the seal. And if we put that on the base here, okay, then we have an additional sculpt here, a tiny body sculpt, well, tiny, a smaller body sculpt, and that is actually, that pegs in just as such, same system as before, so it can go in only one way. And this is actually Shaka when he was a child, and this is from a scene in the Hades chapter where Shaka is remembering his teachings, and he's thinking back when his teacher was telling him about the meaning of life and how death is not an end but is actually a transitory state. And here is a perfect rendition of that scene from the anime. Next up, we have the metal plate or the metal plaque. So this consists of two parts. On the one hand, you have the translucent base, which I'm unwrapping here. I'm not sure what material it's made of. If it's not some kind of resin, I think it's some kind of plastic, but it's pretty heavy. It's pretty good quality. And you have the logo of the studio engraved in it, as you can see here. That's really nicely done. So you need to put it down as such. Now I'm going to take the cardboard box, which has a nice logo, gold emboldened logo, really nicely done. And in here we have the metal plate. Here you can see the box, which I'm going to now unwrap. So all of these are in boxes and plastics that can be reused. I would urge everyone to keep them, because you never know. If you're moving to a new house or you're selling your statue, it's great that you can wrap everything again and protect it during transport. So now I'm going to put the plate or the plaque into place. And there are actually two sides to it. Sadly enough, the Chinese logo, I'm going to come back to that again later on. And you can display it in two ways, either with the Virgo temple or with the Virgo gold cloth. So you can choose. For now, I put it like this, but maybe I'm going to display it with the armor. So next up, finally, we have the cardboard box that was on the outside of the styrofoam box, if you remember. And this actually contains some kind of translucent plate and various metal screws so that you can display your certificate of authenticity. Now, it's great that they include this. I think this really goes above and beyond. Not many studios do that, and I love the fact that they did this. I hope they will continue doing this. So as you can see, it consists of two parts, and then we also have a sachet with some metal parts in it. So I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to explain what each part is meant for, because you have various kinds of bolts and screws. So if we take a look, I'm going to put them on the table right here. You can have actually build two versions. So those caps that I'm putting there, they're in order to screw at the front side of the display plate, and the screws are for the back. Now, the metal rods are if you want to have it displayed standing upright, and the other ones, the hooks, are if you want to hang it on the wall. Mine, I'm going to set it up straight because I put my statues in Moducase display cases. So we're going to take the back here as such, and we are going to open up our certificate here, which I showed you previously, very carefully so as to not bend or tear it. The certificate itself is very nicely done. You have gold reflective text on it, you have a seal, you have the signature of the company president, you have the astrological sign in gold, very nicely done. Sadly, again, the Chinese logo, that's something I don't like so much. Then here we align it perfectly, as you can see, okay. And then you put in the screws from the front, and then on the back you put those caps to tighten it. So if you're gonna put your certificate standing up, as I will do, then you need to put these at the top, and you need to screw the long pins or metal rods at the bottom. And here it is, mounted as it should be. Here you can see. Otherwise you just put the hooks at the top of the plate instead. And if you put it standing up, that looks magnificently. You have a little bit of transparency there, and it really finishes up the whole set with this. Now that everything is set up, it's time to give you my honest review of this statue set. We're starting off with the A set, and here I have made some detailed close-ups of the statue, and as you can see, it's a fantastic statue. The detail is there, very good paint job. I love the base as well, and there's sufficient shading everywhere. As you can see, there's shading on the base. You have the name of Shaka here. There's shading on the armor, the cape, The hair is nicely done. The hair could perhaps do with a little bit more shading. I don't know. That's maybe a personal preference, but overall it looks really good. Here you can see the helmet. I think the gold cloth, they really captured very well. You have the detail the way it should be. You have the shading the way it should be. The colors are on point. This is a fantastic job. I like the posing as well. Here we have the pose with the arms brought together, and then the second pose as well. Though both poses are very well done and very anime accurate. This is very important to me, that they are anime accurate, which is the case here. And here you can see a lot of detail even on the shoulder pads, the inside of the shoulder pads as well. I love the way they did the two red stones. They really look like tiny sapphires, the way they should. The shiny translucent part there. I don't know if this is also resin or not, but they did a really good job there. And now we're going to have a look at the statue in its entirety from all angles. That looks just perfect. I love the way they sculpted this statue. It's definitely one of my favorites of Saint Seiya so far. And here another close-up with the hands and the head sculpt. Next we're going to the B set, and this is Shaka sitting down holding the rosary. First up, the rosary is very detailed, is anime accurate. You can see the beads that need to be colored purple are colored purple, signifying the number of specters that have deceased. Here you can see another shot from up top. Again, you have beautifully painted open eyes on the head sculpt. Those are very well done. Again, anime accurate. The armor is just as magnificent, beautifully detailed, sculpted, painted, shaded the way it should be as the other set. And here you see that rosary, which I really like, really well done. And the whole statue actually gives off a fantastic vibe. You know, you have the pose, anime accurate, you have the coloring, you can almost feel Shaka's Cosmo bursting out from the statue. You have the ghosts with the translucent to darker colored kind of resin there that adds a lot of dynamism and a lot of punch to the statue. A magnificent set to be sure. And then finally we have the additional parts that you get if you ordered the C set. So here we have an additional bust on a display here for the second set of hands and head sculpt for the B version, as well as Shaka as a child. All very anime accurate. I love the fact that they included all these parts. They're detailed, they're well done, and they really complete the set as it should be. And so you can display everything without having to put things back in the box. I love that. And to finish off this review, we're going to have a look at the entire set here in my Moducase display box, the way I'm going to display it. So this is actually a very complete set. I have very few negative remarks. You have a standing Shaka with cape, with closed eyes, with helmet. You have a sitting Shaka with eyes closed or open without helmet. You have a metal plaque. You have a child version of Shaka, and you have an additional set to display his additional arm and head sculpt. So that's actually a very complete set, very beautifully done. The one minor gripe I have, and this is because I'm a purist, is the Chinese logo. I really don't like that. I understand it's a Chinese company. I understand why they put the Chinese logo, but I would have loved to have seen the original Japanese logo on there. That would have made it the perfect set for me. But aside from that, there's really no negative remarks I can give about this. I'm exquisite. I think it's an exquisite statue. I'm very thrilled to have it in my collection. And this Shaka will stay here displayed in my display case as such, because it's just that well done. If Zodiakos Studio can continue the way they have started with Shaka, then I think we're going to have a nice Seiya collection from them. Great job. Thanks for watching. Catch you guys next time. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, tap the notification bell and sound off in the comments. And hey, while you're here, why not check out another video?